All right, welcome to the Empower Room. I'm your host, Rev T, and so glad to have you all with us in the Empower Room on this Sunday, first Sunday of October, and it is a blessed Sunday. And looking forward to getting into our conversation on today. And let's get ready to do something.
Welcome to the Empower Room for empowering moments with your host, Timothy Hughes. Empowering Moments is brought to you by Empower Media LLC, where we empower you, parents, and the entire community with transformative information to move mind and spirit to a higher state of well-being. So welcome to the Empower Room, and let's get started.
All right, welcome to the Empower Room. I am your host, Rev T, and so glad to have you with us and hope you are having a great day. And Empower Media is who produces this wonderful platform. And what we do is we are involved in various engagements as it relates to media. We have book publishing, we do the podcast, and also do special engagements, empowerment sessions that we do. You're able to check out the menu of programs that we have available that we share with community at our website, which is MPWRmedia.LLC1.com, which is our website. So feel free to go there and check out our menu of services that we customize to fit whatever your organization or school or church may need to be able to reach the goal that you're looking to reach that hit the confines of what we discuss. All right, so hope you check that out and let us know what you think. All right, and this engagement of what we do is we do this on a weekly basis, and we cover 3 C's, if you will, that center around culture, consciousness, and civic concerns. All right. Those are the 3 areas that we pretty much cover. Sometimes we spend time more with one than the other, and sometimes we just have enough time to deal with one or two. So on today, we're going to deal with one or two on today, and we're blessed to have a wonderful guest with us. And want to encourage you to please like our page, send an emoji. If you check us out on YouTube, you can also subscribe to our page, which is MPWR Media LLC. So we encourage you to check out our YouTube page as well and follow us on there. And we appreciate any comments that you would like to leave during the show or when it re-airs, however you choose to leave a comment. We really, really appreciate it very, very much. All right. All right. And just to give you an idea of some of the events that Empower Media will be participating in, we have coming up in October, for example, the National Black Book Festival that will be taking place October 17th through the 19th in Houston, Texas, at the Fallbrook Church. And we will be there with a booth selling our book, In the Blink of an Eye, an out of this world experience that is a bestseller on Amazon. And I want to encourage everyone to please come by the wonderful event. This will be my second year attending. And if I'm not mistaken, they've been doing this for over 10 years. For sure, there in Houston annually. So there are over 100 authors there, and they have some exciting guests, nationally known guests that will be attending as well. So definitely encourage you to come on by the National Black Book Festival in Houston. Again, October 17th through the 19th there in Houston, and there's the address. And if you want more information, there's the phone number to call, or there's also the website that you're able to go to as well to get more information, and hope to see your face in the place. And if you're not able to purchase my book at the book fair, please feel free to go to Amazon.com, and it is available there, In the Blink of an Eye, an out of this world experience. And it's been a very encouraging book to a lot of people in regard to my testimony of me having a sudden death heart attack and what happened with me having that, and here I am today. So that alone should kind of quirk your interest to know that if you had a sudden death heart attack, how you here on the air right now. So that's why you want to read the book. All right. So God bless, and I want to thank you all so much for those folks who have purchased the book and shared your comments, and we really appreciate it very much. All right. All right. So as I stated, we covered 3 areas, usually civic concerns, culture, and consciousness. We're going to deal specifically today with civic concerns and consciousness with our special guest, Reverend Clyde Crumpton D-Man, who will be with us and that has shared a very interesting theological perspective that I think would be a very good conversation for us to have and to hear his argument, if you will, in regard to what he sees happening in our world currently today. All right. And before we get to that, we've got to lift up the civic concern. We ask that you please make sure that you're registered to vote. All right. Constantly go to vote.org to verify that I am still registered because there's a lot of voter suppression, foolishness going on right now as we prepare for the election on November the 5th. Here in Texas, where I live currently, the deadline to register is October 7th, which is tomorrow. All right. And early voting will begin on October 21st. Here in Texas as well on a Monday. So I highly encourage you to early vote. That is something I have started to do once I knew that was an option for us since I've been here in Texas. And I make sure I'm there definitely within that first week to vote for sure, to avoid any kind of disruption with my vote. And to also help to avoid the crowds and things of that nature too. It's really been a smooth process for the voting location that I go to. All right. So I want to encourage y'all to please make sure you're registered. You can go to vote.org and check that out. We have 30 days before the election. Registration deadline again in Texas is October 7th, tomorrow. Early voting begins on October 21st, 2024 for Texas. All right. Can't speak for other states, but that's what we got going on here. All right. And you can check. So go check. Make sure you're aware if early voting is available. Check it out. I encourage you to make sure that you early vote if that is an option in your state. I know every state does not do that, but most states are doing it now. So, and there are states that are already voting because their early voting started earlier this month. All right. So, hey, if you're in one of those places, please make sure you do your due diligence and think about our children, think about our ancestors of what they had to go through the civil rights movement and before the civil rights movement to show our respect to our ancestors and to the children that will be coming that are here and will have to deal with what they would have to deal with after us. I have this shirt on, Project 2025. You know that what that means? No, we're not about that. So I want to encourage you all to, hey, let's do what we got to do. All right, our vote counts. It means something. For those of y'all that think it doesn't, it does. All right. So that's enough on that. So let's move on to our very, very special guest, a very dear friend of mine who I've known for a number of years and has been with us in the Empower Room on a number of occasions. So glad to have with us our own Reverend Clyde, Dr. Clyde Crumpton on with us. Reverend Dr. Clyde Crumpton.
Good afternoon, Reverend T, and to all of your guests who may be viewing with us. Good afternoon, and absolutely make sure everyone is registered to vote. This is crucial.
Thank you.
And we're not going back.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Dr. Clyde Crumpton, man, you and I have been conversing. And you've also, I know when you have been on the show before, you had shared with us your theological understanding of the biblical text as it relates to where we are today. And I've been very intrigued in this. I've been thinking about it since the very first time you shared it, but I thought this would be a great opportunity for you to delve more into it, because before we had a panel, and with it's just the two of us, I'd like for you to kind of flush that out some more with us on this afternoon, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. This is a program we labeled the Neighborhood Sustainability Initiative, and we work with this initiative throughout the city, but primarily in a neighborhood called Kingsville. And it was designed initially to build a sustainable neighborhood, what that would look like, what that would take. And we started off and kind of condensed it into 4 stages. Stage 1 is where we actually take a look at the concerns and the issues and the things that we would like to see in our neighborhood. Some of the major concerns are, gun violence, reckless behavior of our young people, drug use, fentanyls in the community. But beside all of those negative things, we would also like to see housing development, small business development in the neighborhood, grocery stores that will help us move from a food desert area in which we find ourselves. Small businesses, the beauty shops, laundromats, barber shops, clothing, accessories, and just what the neighbors would like to see in their neighborhood. So all that takes place in stage 1. Okay. Stage 2, we take a look at our cultural history. How do we get to where we are? How do we get here? Okay. And we have to look at our history, which informs us as to how we got to where we are, which helps us to determine where we go from here. Okay. And without that history, we find ourselves just wandering aimlessly, throughout life. We see a lot of our young people don't know from whence they've come, don't know that they have a responsibility to their cultural history and heritage, and that they have a responsibility to build their lives on that cultural history, that past, to protect it and to teach it. Mm-hmm. Stage 3 is where we look at the Bible and how we find a biblical narrative that parallels our history in this nation, in this country, or on this soil, if you will. Okay. We look at the 400-year history and the subsequent 30 years, or the following 30 years after the 400. And then stage 4 is what we call ethical decision making. Stage 2 is, stage 1 identifies the issues, concerns, the likes, dislikes, desire, and the desires that we like to have. Stage 2 speaks to the cultural history, which we find is informative. Stage 3 tells our story from the biblical spiritual perspective, which is empowering. And stage 4 is now we've been informed and empowered. What are we going to do in the ethical decision making of stage 4 about the issues and concerns and desires of stage 1? And we also like to shape this and use it to address gun violence in our neighborhood. And it actually helps to change the mindset of our young people once they see how, as Malcolm X put it, we've been tricked, hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok. Right. Yeah, so we could understand how we got to where we are, so that the things that come into our community that are not good for us, like the guns and the ammunitions and the drugs, how we can say no. Mm-hmm. And I'm not falling for the okie doke anymore. We don't manufacture fentanyl. We don't manufacture ammunitions or guns. How do these items continue to fall into our neighborhood and our community? Mm-hmm. And we pick them up and fall victim to this, this inundation of negative things into our community.
I understand. So getting into the theological component, can you go a little bit deeper into that in regard to what you have?
Yes. I intended to have my book handy. Okay. One of the books we use in stage 2 in telling our story is the 1619 Project book by Nicole Hannah-Jones. Okay. Excellent book for helping to tell our story. There are many others out there, but that's one of the latest and most concise versions of our history that can help us tell the story. Okay. So it identifies the 400 years from 1619 to 2019. There's a biblical narrative where God has a conversation with Abram before God changes his name to Abraham.
Right.
He put the HAM suffix on there, and Ham has the definition of black, meaning black, and parts of Africa once called the land of Ham. So that's significant because when God speaks to Abraham, he's given this biblical narrative in Genesis 15, where he tells Abraham, before his name was Abraham, Abram, he gives him this prophecy. Your descendants will be, well, let me back up and say, God had made Abram a very wealthy man.
Okay.
He goes to God, you may be a very wealthy man. I don't have any descendants to pass my wealth on to. God says, well, you're going to have your own children from your own bowel, your own descendants. And God tells him to go prepare a meat sacrifice, meaning you're going to give up these things. And you can look in the Genesis 15, see those things he had to sacrifice to support his spiritual well-being.
Okay.
So that when God comes back to him, he can receive this prophecy that God's going to give him. God comes back to him and says, your descendants are going to be in a land that's not theirs. They're going to afflict them for 400 years, after which I'm going to bring them out with great possession. And we know that that story speaks to Moses bringing Israel out of Egypt after 400 years. Right. And but in Exodus chapter 12, verses 40 to 42, Moses writes that it was actually 430 years to the day when they came out of Egypt with Moses. Then God tells Abram, you're going to live to be a good old age. You're going to go to your ancestors at a good old age. But he comes back and says, but in the fourth generation, we know that 4 generations now is 4,000 years.
Okay.
God says, your descendants are going to come here again before God because the iniquity, the injustice of the Amorites, descendants of Ham, are not yet complete. So in this narrative, we know we talked about Moses and the Israelites. Then in 4,000 years, this narrative repeats itself. So we have to look at a biblical timeline. Go online, look at a biblical timeline from Abraham to Christ and to where we are today. So from Abraham, God is having this conversation with Abram 2,000 years before Christ.
Okay.
Now we're in a period 2,000 years after Christ. So that's the 4,000 years, the 4 generations.
Gotcha.
So our 400-year history is 1619 to 2019. That's the 400 years. Now we're in year 5 of the next 30 years.
Okay.
So what happened in the Bible? What happened in that 30-year period? Well, that's when the 10 plagues took place. Exodus chapter 7 to chapter 12, the 10 plagues. So that falls with our history and where we are in the world today, that to say that 1619 to 2019 was the 400. Now we're in year 5. So 2020 opened up with a plague, the pandemic we call coronavirus.
Right. Okay.
And we're still under that.
Right.
And if you read between the lines with this back and forth between Pharaoh and Moses and God, that there was economic interference, interruption, division, political interference, disruption, and division, social, ethical interference, and division in the land. So the Pharaoh said, y'all can go, leave, come back. No, I'm not gonna let you leave. And back and forth. Then he lets them go. Then he pursues them. Okay.
Right.
So because that's my free labor, I'm letting go.
Exactly. Right. What am I
that's going to help my economy, right? That was some political decisions in there.
Right.
So to put this all into context, when we look at our history and who we are as a people and the awesome, great things that we accomplish as a people when we work collaboratively, when we work together, particularly in the 1960s with the Civil Rights Movement and the Voting Rights Act, the Housing Act. So when we come together and work as a people, especially when we acknowledge God in the process, we can accomplish and achieve anything.
Interesting.
And that's what we need to get back to as a people.
Okay.
So, we can have, we can do, we can become whatever we put our minds to. And when I share this narrative and this story and this neighborhood sustainability initiative with young people, they also built into this is that measurable amount of pride, self-esteem, and value. So your mindset changes, your behavior changes, your attitude changes,
Right.
and we begin to make different decisions, ethical decisions, for our lives based on now what I know, what I've been informed, and how I've been empowered. So when we look at how we're empowered as in our relationship with God, we have no excuses.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We've been disarmed.
Right.
And empowered at the same time.
Exactly. Exactly.
So another way to look at this is that after the flood, because we go back and study, going back to when the world was repopulated after the flood with Noah and his 3 sons and their 3 wives, we can follow Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Those were the 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So we can follow the genealogy of Shem over to Abraham in the Bible. We can look at Ham as being the ancestor to Ishmael, who was Abraham's son by his black Egyptian maid Hagar, Egyptian out of Egypt.
Okay.
So when God makes this covenant with Abraham, there's Shem represented through Isaac, his first son, his second son by Sarah, who was circumcised at the age of 8 days, which is a sign of the covenant God made with Abraham. Ishmael at that time was 13 years old, who represents Ham, who was under the covenant that God made with Abraham. So those 2 of Noah's sons, Ham and Shem, are represented under the covenant. Who's not there is Japheth.
Okay.
And when we read through the narrative, Genesis chapter 10, it says Japheth, and it tells who his descendants were. And it states that Japheth separated themselves. They left the region. Because after the flood, everybody's a people of color.
Right.
On to that.
Okay.
So they separated themselves. Well, where did they go? Well, they went north and east of the Mediterranean. Well, how do we know that? Well, because Paul's ministry was specifically for the Gentiles, that they can come under this covenant God made with Abraham by faith.
Right.
It's not in their blood, but by faith.
Yeah.
Okay. That was Paul's ministry. Well, where did his ministry take him? Well, it took him to Rome and Italy and Greece and Iceland, Corinth, Ephesus. Right. Galatia, all north of the Mediterranean. And who do we find there today? Gentiles. What do they look like? Non-melanated people.
Right.
Because they were in those upper regions for so long, Iceland, Greenland, Switzerland, that they lost their melanin.
Right.
And that's where the Vikings come from. And the Vikings were warriors, right? Kill and take whatever we want.
Right.
And that's the mentality of the Gentiles today. They're the warriors and the war makers in the world today. So we as African Americans, descendants of Africans, and in this nation, descendants of enslaved Africans, we're not Gentiles. That's one of the things that we have to correct in the church.
Okay. This is deep, man. This is deep. I'm hope you're working on a book.
Well, I have it in book form. Yes.
Okay.
But it's being rewritten all the time as I learn more and study more. When I first put this in book form, the 1619 Project book was not out yet.
Okay, I got you. Understand.
So I'm going back and having to rewrite and different references. So it's always developing even more.
Right. So how has this been received where you are with the organization that you're working with? What would you say in regard to that?
Every time I present it in the full context, because normally the least amount of time is 7 weeks if we're doing 1 class a week, or sometimes even if we do 2 classes a week. I mean, it varies based on the amount of time that we have to share information. When I have time, well, one of the first times we shared the information, it was in the Church of Cobrian Presbyterian Church where I pastored.
Okay.
And I invited 25 people from the immediate neighborhood, 5-block radius around the church. 20 responded, 15 went through the 7-week class. Okay. And before I could get to complete the ethical decision making, they already made a decision that we want to organize.
Oh, wow.
And do some things. And so that out of that came what's now known as the Kingsville Neighborhood Association.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Kingsville is a combination of the Kings Highway neighborhood, Kingsway East, and the Greater Ville neighborhood, which is historically a Black neighborhood and was its own Black Wall Street in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, right?
Okay.
So a major training hospital was there, Homer G. Phillips Hospital, and there were small Black businesses and wealthy, Black entrepreneurs, doctors and lawyers and educators, blue collar workers. I mean, a thriving community.
And neighborhood. Right.
And neighborhood, yeah.
Right.
Before
beautiful homes and all that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's part of its demise was when the mayor, who wanted our vote in Black North St. Louis, and there was a controversy over whether or not this major hospital would close in North St. Louis. Well, you vote for me, I won't close the hospital. We voted for him, he closed the hospital.
Right.
Okay. Right. So then from there, it just started to deteriorate even more.
Right.
But it was a thriving community.
Exactly.
So from the Greater Ville, from the Ville and the Greater Ville and Kingsway, we come up with Kingsville, and it's a thriving neighborhood association. We engage with the public school in the neighborhood, businesses in the neighborhood. We're developing housing in the neighborhood, and work well with the city. We are so well established now. When the neighborhood association wants something done that requires the city's attention, we get their attention pretty quickly.
Well, that's good. That's real good. Really good. So how long would you say that this has been taking place as far as the organization, as the association?
That developed in, I think started in 2017, 2018, before COVID. Yeah. Before COVID. We were meeting in person.
Oh, okay. Awesome, man. Awesome. That's good to know. Yeah. So how can people get in contact with you to get more information? This may be a model that people will want to consider using in their communities, and maybe even have you to come and share, your 3 stages.
4 stages.
4 stages. Sorry, 4 stages.
Just reach out to me via email, and we have a program. Well, actually, we're labeling the initiative as Truth Free.
Truth Free. All right.
Based on John chapter 8, verse 32, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Okay.
Right. So, in this program, in this initiative, we are telling our truth and becoming liberated to realize that we now can have, we can do, we can become, we can achieve whatever we put our minds to, particularly if we do it collectively.
Okay.
So the initiative is called Truth Free.
Truth Free. Okay.
But they can reach me at my email, which is my initial CRC .Clyde, that's CLYDE, at yahoo.com.
Okay. CRC.Clyde at yahoo.com.
Right. And we'll have a Truth-Free website up and running before long.
Okay, awesome. Just write that down. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, man. Is there anything else you want to add in regard to how things are going? Anything that's pressing on your heart?
Well, it's really not that complicated. We are engaging young people as much as possible to set up the website, to respond to the emails, to just become engaged and develop this as a business that they can nurture and grow and become the curators of the business, if you will, and that they can, gather other information materials and grow and pass it on. The other thing I wanted to add is that history is so crucial that there are legislatively states in this nation that are banning books that tell our story because they know once we know who we are, they can no longer oppress us and contain us.
Exactly.
So history is crucial, and voting is a crucial part of that history.
Yes,
so we have to vote and become a part of that process, man, to cast our vote, because our votes do count.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and that has been a interesting discussion with some folk I've talked to in regard to those feeling that there's nothing that has been done, and you just expressed it, in regard to the civil rights movement, the voting rights bill, the housing act. Another one was affirmative action is another one, and those have been phenomenal, and you have to look at it from a time frame. We're talking within my lifetime, these bills were passed,
Yes.
okay, within 60 years. So
Yes.
with that in mind, I feel we have accomplished a lot within a short period of time, and we, like you said, we are not going back.
Right.
We're not going back, because we're still evolving, still growing, and what you guys are doing definitely helps to lend to us moving forward for sure.
One last thing. If our votes didn't count, why are we having to go back and revisit the Voting Rights Act with the John Lewis Voting Rights Act bill?
Right, right,
If police accountability wasn't such an issue, why do we have the George Floyd Accountability Act, which are being stalled?
exactly.
Right. If it wasn't important, why are they trying to continue to block our vote, and why is voting sometimes in some districts made difficult?
Exactly. And why
If our
why
vote
why
didn't
is it
count,
being
right?
suppressed? Because
If our
there's
history didn't count, why are you banning our books?
right, right. I mean, it's just bizarre for, I don't know, just people are interesting, So we're gonna keep it moving, keep praying,
My
keep
people perish
fasting.
for a lack of knowledge.
Right, exactly, exactly. And sometimes it pulls the hair out, which I have none now, So
We've taken it all away from you,
all
man.
right. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness, So it's something else. So I want to make sure I got your email correct on there. Does that look right? Can you see it?
crc.clyde@yahoo.com. Correct.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's where you can reach Dr. Clyde Crumpton up there to get more information. I love this four-stage methodology that he has authored along with the other folks in his organization there, and it seems like that is a great strategy, a great combination, a great solution for real that is needed not only in the St. Louis area but across our country. So so
Absolutely.
grateful for you, Dr. Crumpton, and blessings to you, sir, for being able to come on and share this wonderful information with us. I think it, to me, is a sign of hope that we
Oh,
need in
yes.
today's world, for sure. And keep up the good work in any way that Empower can be of any assistance. Please let me know. We are there.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you for this opportunity to join you today,
Oh,
Reverend
definitely.
T. Thank you very much. I can call you Tim because we go back some years.
Yes, we do. And love to you, to the First Lady. Love to
All
the
right,
First
and give
Lady.
our love to your
Okay.
wife also. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, man. God bless.
God bless you too.
All
Stay
right
safe.
now. All right. All righty, all right. Well, we want to thank Reverend Clyde, Dr. Clyde Crumpton, for being on with us. Outstanding initiative that he has going on. I want to encourage you to get in contact with them. As you can see, that is his email address there, that you can reach out to him to get more information. I think what he has is phenomenal. And the icing on the cake with the theological, biblical ingredient, if you will, to solving the solutions of our community is phenomenal. So please get in contact with Dr. Clyde Crumpton. I am with him 100% in what he is doing in the Kingsdale Neighborhood Association. The 4 stages, truth free. Be looking forward coming on your websites and getting more information as it relates to this wonderful initiative, Truth Free. All right. All right. So we also want to lift up today, you all. We're at Empower Media are about doing something. So we want to continue to lift up justice for Quincy McMillan. hashtag. We ask that you all please share that hashtag, as we still are concerned with the murder of Quincy McMillan, a young man who I knew, and I know his mom and brothers from South Berkeley High School when I was an intervention specialist there. And unfortunately, he was tragically killed in Phoenix, Arizona, doing a delivery for Lyft. And I want to continue to lift the family up in prayer and praying for justice for the loss of Quincy McMillan there as well, and hoping that there will be someone that will come forward to provide information in regard to what happened to him. Some people would possibly come forward to be able to get this crime solved, prayerfully in a timely manner. All right. So thank you all for joining us in the Empower Room. Again, don't forget to do something. Our website is MPWRmediaLLC1.com. Check out our presentation page, our store page, where we have our book, In the Blink of an Eye. We also have our Examiner Quarterly, which is also available as well on our website. And we hope to see you all again next week. And we're looking forward to a powerful panel discussion on next week, and pray that everyone will be able to be present for that we hope to have, and looking forward to next week. All right. So we pray that you all have a blessed rest of the week. Hey, don't forget to get registered. If you're not registered, don't forget to vote. Don't forget to take somebody along with you. Don't forget to tell your friends they need to vote. And let's do what we have to do. I know that they always say, this election is crucial, and this, that, and the other every election cycle that comes around. But this one, y'all, for real. is very crucial. All right. So we need everybody, all hands on deck. Let's do what we got to do to make sure we have a landslide, to make sure that Project 2025 does not enter. All right. We got to make sure that doesn't enter. All right. So y'all know how to do that. We already know what that means. All right. So God bless. We pray you have a blessed rest of the week. And thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. And don't forget to do something.
Thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. Hope you have received some impactful information. Please like or leave a comment. See you next week in the Empower Room, brought to you by Empower Media LLC and your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes, aka Rev T.